He's got multiple run scored games.
Yeah.
That's the difference in whether he becomes a viable top of the lineup type guy for you or not.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was 8 straight games. That's good. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And some of those are in games where he doesn't get a base hit. He just walks. And has at least one walk in 7 of those 8 games.
On-base percentage matters, no doubt. Your teammates then have to do something. It's been better for the Braves, certainly more nights than not recently. But that's a number that tells me. We said, how many answers can we get? Is he a leadoff hitter?
Yeah.
Well, those are the types of numbers that say, if I'm going to look at Michael Harris to be a run producer more so next year, middle of the lineup bat, if I'm going to look to not have Ronald lead off and he's going to hit third, what do I get from 1 and 2? Profar scoring runs, good on-base percentage scoring runs is going to be the key for, I feel really comfortable. That's his job going into spring training.
Well, and Snit has told us he would rather have Ronald Acuna batting third.
No doubt. Michael Harris becomes a really interesting thing because you're going to play the Austin Riley-Michael Harris thing at some point next year where you go, who's hitting fourth, who's hitting fifth. But Michael hitting ninth, unless you're really telling me that you think you've got a couple of guys at 7 and 8, your lineup's been stretched out, he's not hitting ninth anymore.
No.
And this version of him does not need Ronald Acuna protection. So, again, it's not going to be this hot, but if you're a 4 or 5 hitter, you're playing that type of defense, you become the all-around, and I don't want to say MVP, because that was thrown around 2 years ago. It was thrown around pretty quickly. That's the type of guy, score runs, play plus defense, drive in runs, and you go, oh, look, that's the type of guy who is considered in an MVP race. And this version of him who now hits home runs to center field, a little bit to left center, not looking to pull, he could be the 25 home run guy that everybody thought he was supposed to be at 22 years old.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And for him, adjusting the way he did, I think, saved a lot. I mean, there were talks of sending him down. Sending him down.
The All-Star break couldn't come soon enough. I was one of those guys that said he needs to get away from baseball.
Yes.
4 days certainly helped, even though, again, everybody's pointing to St. Louis. This is when he's done something different. I can tell you this. I don't know what would have happened if he would have stuck with it if he didn't get away and really sit down with himself during that break. Put the bat down, get away. You don't want to move your hands here, but then 3 days later you're back here. Well, that didn't really work, and I'm going to do this now. Thank goodness he seems to be settled into what it is he wants to do. Not only approach, stop swinging at bad pitches, but also drive the baseball a little bit more towards center field and over, and that really has been evident.
He said yesterday after the game that it was Sacramento and then St. Louis where he knew he had to do it, but it felt weird, and he wasn't doing it consistently, and now...
I think sitting down, actually, it helps you. You look at your numbers and you resign yourself to the fact, why am I fighting this? I have to do something.
Yeah, something has to change. And he didn't have that kind of success in Sacramento or St. Louis, but he...
biggest thing we're bringing is a brand new Tony Gwynn drop I did with his estate. So we just signed a deal at therealist.com to actually go through his entire archives, present them, and auction them off. And to announce it, we did this limited edition 1994 The Lost Season card. Because, between August of 93 and May of 95, Tony Gwynn batted .406 in 162 games. So in the back, we have the stats of what could have been.
I remember the first series I had, the first home run I hit was a grand slam against Seattle, which was the team that I had played for the year before. As we know, Cleveland can get a little cold, so I would wear the dark blue long sleeves. And for some reason, this jersey, I always liked my jersey a little longer. The reasons for it, for a little padding, so when I would slide, I wouldn't get all patched up and roughed up.
It's going to be close. Throws it to first, and he's out. Double play.
A Braves double play is a well-oiled machine. Just like Valvoline Instant Oil Change. We'll change your oil in about 15 minutes while you stay in your car. The only thing that'll be out here is your old oil. Drive into your neighborhood Atlanta location today. No appointment needed. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
Don't miss Tom Glavine and his Hall of Fame insight every Monday afternoon at 3:30 during Chuck and Chernoff on the radio home of the Braves, 680 The Fan and the Fan app.
The 2025 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested. This roster is ready to pop, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
Now the first pitch to Acuna, he swings, he drives one. Is this real life? It's a home run by Acuna. 1-0 Braves. Holy smokes!
With some incredible starting pitching and a roster loaded with stars, don't ever count this team out.
Up towards third, backhanded and fouled around by Riley. Long throw. Ho, ho, ho! What a play by Riley!
It's time for the Braves to get things going. Atlanta Braves baseball on the Braves Radio Network is brought to you by the original Louisiana hot sauce. Flavor favors the bold. Your local Ford dealers, proud partner of your Atlanta Braves. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Your local Hyundai dealer, proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. John Foy and Associates Personal Injury Law. Get the strong arm. Arrow Exterminators, make the right call and protect your home or business from pests by calling 888-GO-ARROW. Peachtree Orthopedics, same day evenings and Saturdays. It's time to get better. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of the Atlanta Braves. Yanmar Tractors and Engines, an official partner of the Atlanta Braves grounds crew. Your Atlanta area Lexus dealer. Experience amazing. Simply Sport, the official CBD partner of your Atlanta Braves. TimberTech Decking and Railing, everything wood should be. Visit TimberTech.com. City of Hope, Atlanta, making hope a reality for cancer patients throughout the Southeast. Attorney Ken Nugent. One call, that's all. Xfinity. Get one internet price for 5 years with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Pennington Grass Seed, official partner of the Atlanta Braves grounds crew. ServPro. When disaster strikes, call ServPro to make it like it never even happened. Saya LTL Freight, the official freight and logistics company of the Atlanta Braves.
Want a Cy Young, 73, 5, and 6, I've got an extra 5. And then it says, has worked as a TV commentator. You know, and I did start back in 1978. I did the Yankees and the Red Sox playing the one-game playoff. And ABC said if the Yankees win, Reggie will play, and then you'll go broadcast with Howard Cosell and Keith Jackson. And that's how I started my broadcast. And that's the Bucky Dent home run. So every time I see Bucky Dent, I go, thank you for making me a broadcaster.
You know, we like to stay on topic here, but Squirrel. What?
Where?
Squirrel.
Where?
Oh, no.
How about that? That went right up into the batter's eye, into the camera position. How about that?
Whoa, that one will fall into the White Sox dugout.
Well, it looks like he's still aggravated about being traded away. She's so excited she just threw it back. That was off the ledge, too. We can't get that down.
How do you get out, though? That's the problem. There's no exit.
Best center fielder in the league. So, yeah, how the tides have turned. Just a simple mechanical adjustment. from what I understand, is just putting him in a better position to hit, and not just where his hands are, but how his hips are working in his swing, pitch recognition, how his weight is moving through the swing. So it's a pretty interesting stuff, and then you see the results it's brought on the field. Now he's the guy we thought he was, and it's a sight for sore eyes for Braves fans.
We'll keep it going tonight. Maybe it'll turn into a win, which would mean a series victory for the Braves. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Never miss a pitch of the Braves.
WCNN North Atlanta, a Dickey broadcasting station.
The Fan, and streaming free on the Fan app.
When we come back, I'll introduce you to the starting lineups for both the Braves and Mets, and after that, we'll get to baseball. Braves and Mets tonight on the Braves Radio Network.
Interrumpimos este video para recordarte que puedes endulzar tu día con una dulcerapia de la lechera.
Get yourself ready.
Yes, there are hugs, and then there's that.
Now, what is that? What is the purpose of that?
It's an anemometer. It measures wind speed.
So that's a good.
But it looks like a fidget spinner.
Meanwhile, on the Cove, it just looks like too much fun.
It was so routine, he took his eye off.
You got to come up with this play. You got to. You're right there. You had two hands. He looked it in. Oh.
Batting cleanup, designated hitter Marcell Ozuna. Hitting fifth, center fielder Michael Harris. Batting sixth for the Braves, second baseman Ozzie Albies. Hitting seventh, switch hitting right fielder Vidal Brujan. Batting eighth, third baseman Nacho Alvarez. Batting ninth, shortstop Nick Allen. And on the mound, the right-hander Bryce Elder. He is starting for the 20th time this season. He's 4-9 with a 6.12 ERA. And he is seeing the Mets for the first time since 2023. So again, for the Braves, it'll be Profar, Olsen, Baldwin, Ozuna, Harris, Albies, Brujan, Alvarez, Allen, and Elder on the mound. Now for the Mets, managed by Carlos Mendoza. They are 64-56. They're in second place in the East, and they are 5 games back of division leading Philadelphia. The Mets will lead it off tonight with their shortstop Francisco Lindor. Batting second, right fielder Juan Soto, and hitting third, left fielder Brandon Nimmo. Batting cleanup for the Mets, first baseman Pete Alonso. Hitting fifth, second baseman Jeff McNeil. Batting sixth, center fielder Cedric Mullins. Hitting seventh, designated hitter Ronnie Mauricio. Batting eighth, third baseman Brett Beatty. Batting ninth, the catcher Luis Torrens. And on the mound, the right-hander from Gamagori, Japan, Kodai Senga. He's making his 19th start of the season. He's 7-4 with a 2.30 ERA. So again, for the Mets, who have dropped 12 of their last 14 games, it'll be Lindor, Soto, Nimmo, Alonso, McNeil, Mullins, Mauricio, Beatty, Torrens, and Senga on the mound. Those are the lineups for both teams. They'll be on the field when we come back. Braves and Mets coming right up on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Hi there! I'm a four-leaf clover! You know, the lucky thing you used to look for? But now, with Lucky 7 scratchers from the Georgia Lottery, nobody wants me anymore.
There's a reason nobody picks you, dude. It's because I'm luckier.
Whatever, horseshoe. Shouldn't you be clomping down the street or something?
Shouldn't you be covered in weed spray?
This is my radio commercial.
For things not as lucky as
They're all the
horseshoe.
luck you need. Win up to $2 million with the Lucky 7 scratchers from the Georgia Lottery.
Go ahead, caller. Got a question for Michael Harris II?
Hey, Mike. Are you giving away your Bronco again this year?
You know it. Let me tell you how. One lucky fan could drive home Michael Harris II's custom Ford Bronco. Go to winmoneymikesbronco.com and get a link to enter for a chance to win today. This year, it was all my idea. No purchase necessary. Odds depend on entries received. Open to select legal residents of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee 18 or older. Rules at winmoneymikesbronco.com. Entries must be received by and sweeps ends 9/2/25. Void where prohibited.
Don't miss an incredible lineup of Braves giveaways this season, including bobbleheads, collectibles, and a replica jersey. Visit Braves.com/promos to see them all.
T-Mobile is more than the best network in the game. They're now the best network in America, according to the experts at Ookla Speed Test. So MLB fans are connected from home to home plate with the most advanced 5G, the most towers, and a signal that goes farther than ever. You can keep up with your teams on the road, overseas, and even off the grid. For baseball fans, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H2025, compatible device and plan required for T-Satellite. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Excellence. It's what Atlanta expects from its home teams and from its jeweler. That's why the Braves trust Solomon Brothers as their preferred jeweler with the best selection of diamonds anywhere, a low price guarantee, and a 5-star rating on Google with over 3,000 reviews. We're proud to also be Atlanta's preferred jeweler. Jaron Solomon here, and be sure to register for this year's Diamond Days to become a Brave for a day, including a day at Truist Park with Braves alumni and custom gear. Enter at 680thefan.com/Diamond Days.
Fall's coming fast, Braves country, and deer season's right behind it. Whether you're learning a new lease, planning a public land trip, or headed to deer camp like you have for years, the OnX Hunt app is your ticket to a better hunt. See public and private boundaries, drop trail cam and tree stand waypoints, map access routes and road systems, and share it all with your hunt crew. Even with no cell service, OnX shows all of your content, boundaries, and your exact GPS location. Download the OnX Hunt app from your app store and get after your best fall yet.
Get ready for the college football season when the Braves aren't playing at night. Join me for the Buck Belue Show with Kelly Kroll, weeknights from 6 to 8, right here on The Fan.
Great to have you with us here at Citi Field for the final game of this series alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you. Lineup cards being exchanged at home plate right now. In fact, they just had a pregame ceremony to celebrate the accomplishment of Pete Alonso breaking the franchise's home run record the other night.
Claro, 95 años transformando tu vida a través de la conexión.
To be in, the middle of New York to display a card like this is really such a big part of the Fanatics mission. We think about how do we create new experiences. Now we get the opportunity to put incredible Holy Grail cards in front of tens of thousands, if not millions of new people. It's not just about collectors today, but also about how do we bring new collectors into the space as well. It's really what we do it all for.
And the blue lettering and numerals outlined in orange, and Mets across the chest of their black uniforms tonight to go along with their black caps. Folks Tire Discounters Round Tripper Home Run Promotion offers Braves fans a next day instant savings on sets of select tires, plus a free alignment, a free oil change. The more homers the Braves hit, the bigger the deals at Tire Discounters. Learn more at braves.tirediscounters.com. The rotation of umpires has Mark Rippiger behind the plate calling balls and strikes tonight. Nick Marley is the first base umpire. Vic Carapazza, the crew chief, is at second base, and Nick Lentz is the third base umpire. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud partner of your Atlanta Braves. Visit your neighborhood Valvoline for a stay-in-your-car oil change done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. So the Mets fan out defensively. Here's the leather for New York. Pete Alonso's at first base. Jeff McNeil's at second. Francisco Lindor, the shortstop, and Brett Beatty is at third base. In the outfield for the Mets, Brandon Nimmo in left, Cedric Mullins in center, Juan Soto in right field. Luis Torrens is the catcher, and on the mound is the right-hander Kodai Senga. And Darren, he's a guy that the Braves have only seen twice. He hasn't faced the Braves this year, but in 2 appearances versus the Braves, he's won both of them. And when he's got that forkball going, he can be really tough.
Yeah, that forkball he presents these hitters is really unique. You don't see him a lot, but he's got really good control of it. It is a nasty pitch, so that's what they're going to see when he's looking for a strikeout. You know, if we're breaking down his pitches, he's got a bunch of them. About 80% of his offerings will be either a four-seam fastball, that forkball, or a cutter. And then he messes around with the other pitches, the other 20% made up of a slider, a sinker, a sweeper, and a curveball. But that forkball is really what you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to find a way to lay off that at the bottom of the zone because it is so tempting to swing at, but it's just you got to know the bottom's going to drop out of it. It's going to dive out of the strike zone.
It's funny he has such a deep catalog. He's even thrown a registered EFUS pitch in his career.
Yeah, you noticed that?
I did see that, which is pretty good. But yeah, the forkball, and it's interesting, the difference in the forkball and the splitter is just how deep the ball goes in between the 2 fingers, correct?
Yeah, those divisions, it's a little bit murky. It's kind of like how you perceive it. But yes, the forkball is going to be held a little bit deeper, and the big difference is it's going to be slower. So his forkball is in the low 80s, whereas traditional splitter is probably up in the higher 80s.
All right, he'll be facing Jerks and Profar, Matt Olson and Drake Baldwin here in the top of the first inning. Senga, right-hander, out of Japan, 32 years old, 6'1", 200 pounds, and making his 19th start of the year. He's 7-4 with a 2.30 ERA. Profar climbs in, swinging it from the left side. He's ready. So is Senga. And now for the ball game. The first pitch misses outside. Starting up tonight at 7-11 here in New York and 87 degrees here in Queens. Profar had a big night last night. Got the average up to 245 with a 3-hit night. Drove in 3 runs, scored a run, and he swings and hits one hard, but out to the second baseman, Jeff McNeil, and he throws a little dart over there to Alonso, and one down here in the first inning. The time of the first pitch brought to you by Schumann Farms. Look for Real Sweet Brand Vidalia onions from Schumann Farms in a store near you. Talking about Senga, the last outing that he had was on the 8th against Milwaukee. He went 4 1/3 innings in that game. He gave up 3 runs, just 1 earned, a couple of hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, took a loss. That ended a streak of the Mets winning on his start days. Mets had won his previous 8 starts prior to that. First pitch to Matt Olson, misses low and outside. And Senga in that stretch was 3-0 with 5 no decisions in that span. So they've been doing a lot of winning with Senga on the mound. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Olson, and that's taken for a strike. Fastball in there at 95. One ball and 1 strike. And Olson takes ball low in, and I think the official score is pretty nervous tonight. You might hear that tapping in the background. He left his microphone on, and he's tapping his hand, I believe, on the countertop. They need to take the coffee away from that guy and turn his microphone off. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and Olson takes a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Matt Olson. Olson with a couple of hits in this series. He walked twice last night. Lots of walks last night for Braves batters.
Yeah, Braves did a great job of being disciplined in that strike zone.
Olson swings and misses here to fastball. So there's the first strikeout of the game for Senga. I think that's exactly what it boils down to. The discipline last night was truly outstanding for the Braves. That's really been the case for them here lately. Lots of walks.
Yeah.
As we mentioned with Snit, the only 2 teams with more walks than the Braves are the Yankees and the Dodgers this season across Major League Baseball. Swing and a miss by Drake Baldwin at a fastball 0-1.
Yeah, and since the All-Star break, this Braves team's really taken it to another level, by far leading the major leagues in walks, so being very selective up there and taking those free passes.
0-1 to Baldwin. That'll miss low.
And that'll be tested here tonight with that ghost fork. As I mentioned, it looks like a strike the whole way, and then it dives right out of the strike zone. Most of the time, it probably is a ball.
But just looks so good coming in there. 1-1 pitch, smacked in the air out towards right center field. That's down for a base hit. Over to his left, Cedric Mullins cuts it off in right center. Big turnaround first base for Baldwin, and he'll hold there with a 2-out single. he just continues to mash, and he continues to take strides towards what could be a Rookie of the Year campaign here in 2025 for the young catcher.
Yeah, he's so consistent in the box, and that was a forkball from Senga. It just started at the very top of the zone, so it dropped down into the zone. So, if you see a forkball up there, you want to pull the trigger.
Inning continues for Marcell Ozuna. No score, top of the first inning. Ozuna went deep last night. That was his 20th home run of the season. Takes a strike here. Lots of fastballs right out of the gate by Senga, and he's been 95, 96 with a heater. Right-hander right at the belt. Stretch in the 0-1. That'll be fouled back by Ozuna. That was a slow curve there, coming in at a very slow 68 miles an hour. For Senga, as I mentioned, from Gamagori, Japan. And he played professionally in Japan 2012 through 2022. In fact, he won the Japanese Triple Crown in 2020 and was a 3-time Japanese All-Star. 0-2 to Ozuna, misses high. Fastball up the ladder, makes it 1-2. He signed with the Mets in December of 2022. That was a 5-year deal. Senga brings a 1-2 and bounced in front of the plate. Not his best forkball there. They get a 2-2 count on Ozuna. It's an interesting story on Senga. In Little League and in middle school and even starting high school, he was a third baseman. And he had a high school coach that really liked his arm a lot. And it was his decision to try him out on the mound, and that's worked out for him. Here he is in the big leagues as a starting pitcher. 2-2 on the way to Ozuna. Low and outside with a forkball. Count runs to 3-2 on Ozuna. And if he finds a way to reach, then you could have a couple of men on base for the red-hot Michael Harris, who just observed from the on-deck circle and now swings a weighted bat. Runner goes, 3-2, bounce foul over Freddie Gonzalez, Braves third base coach. Drake Baldwin heads back to first base. This time last night, we were sitting right in the middle of a lengthy rain delay. Hour and 35-minute delay. It was pouring here in New York. We got a gorgeous night tonight, warm night, 87 degrees at the time of the first pitch. Baldwin runs, 3-2 pitch, fouled back again. And it is great to have you with us for the final game of this series.
Senga seems determined to climb the ladder on Marcell Ozuna. A lot of high fastballs, and that plays off his splitter and that slow curveball we saw earlier in the bat very well. And these are all nasty pitches. Marcel's doing a great job battling here.
Now time called. Ozuna backs out of there. Mentioned that Ozuna hit a 2-run homer in the 6th inning last night. He is 8 for 23 with 5 homers and 11 RBIs in his last 6 games. He had 4 home runs in his previous 38 games before that. So this has been a good surge for Marcell. Looking to keep that thing rolling right along right here. Drake runs, 3-2 pitch, and a pop-up. Back of first, foul territory. Alonso calling everybody off, and he makes the catch. And that ends the top of the first inning. Braves get a 2-out single by Baldwin, and that's it. We head to the bottom of the first.
Interrumpimos este video para recordarte que puedes endulzar tu día con una dulcerapia de la lechera.
En la cima no ando solo, estoy con el coro, que te pase rolo. Ey. Pásale, pásale, pásale rolo, pásale, pásale, pásale rolo, pásale, pásale, pásale rolo, pásale rolo.
John Foyne Associates, proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
Engineers, planners, and developers. Do you have a project that needs a cultural resources survey? Contact Wiregrass Archaeological Consultants at diggingintothepast.com. That's diggingintothepast.com.
The same station you go to during the baseball season is the same one you need during football season. Join me, Chris Domino, and Nick Cellini every weekday from 10 to 2 on 680 The Fan or The Fan app.
Mets coming to the plate for the first time. No score into the bottom of the first inning. Bryce Elder facing Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, and Brandon Nimmo here in the first inning. First pitch will miss there to Lindor. 1 ball and no strikes. Alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you at Citi Field in New York. And the rubber game of this series between these two bitter rivals. Pitch misses high, 2 balls and no strikes. Bryce Elder, 26 years old from Decatur, Texas, 6'2", 220. Righty deals the 2-0. And there's a called strike, 2-1. And before you really look anywhere else, Darren, when it comes to Bryce Elder, the first thing that you have your eyes on is his strike-to-ball ratio and trying to stay ahead of those walks. 2-2 pitch, that'll be a little number foul, 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Bryce is he's a command guy. You know, he's got to hit his spots to be successful. And so on the nights he has his best command, he's really good. And he goes deep into the game with very few pitches.
2-2 and a ground ball to second. That's what you have in mind right there. Ozzy's got it, throws over to first base for the out.
Yeah, he's going to pound the bottom of the zone with the sinker. He's going to use the 4-seamer up a little bit, feature that slider heavily. But the nights when he doesn't have his best command, you see a lot of walks. And the other thing is you see a lot of home runs. And in those starts where he gives up home runs, he just has trouble. So there's a lot of power in this Mets lineup, so he's going to have to really be good here with his location.
Yeah, that sinker's got to be sharp, especially to this man. Juan Soto shows bunt and sends one foul. He's just about out of the box when he made contact with that thing. And an 0-1 count on Soto. Here's the leather for Atlanta. Matt Olson at first base. Ozzy Albies at second. Nick Allen at shortstop, and Nacho Alvarez is the third baseman. And we'll introduce you to the Braves outfielders after the 0-1 pitch to Soto. Elder brings it. Soto with a ground ball up the middle. Base hit right in between Allen and Albies. If that's just a few feet to the left or right, one of those players would have been able to get leather on it. But it was perfectly split between Ozzy and Nick. And it's a one-out single by Soto, who is now 3 for 9 in the series.
Yeah, that's a hit. But that reaction off Soto's bat tells me that the sinker is sinking. Right? Soto's got that very interesting bat path, and for that to get to the bottom of the barrel there and him pound it right into the ground is a good sign here early.
Bryce wants a new baseball. Braves outfield has Jurickson Profar in left field, Michael Harris in center field, Vidal Brujan patrolling right field. Drake Baldwin is the catcher. As we mentioned, the right-hander Bryce Elder on the mound. For Bryce, this is his 20th start of the season. He's 4-9 with a 6.12 ERA. And he has lost his last 3 starts. Line shot. Soto jumps over the top of it, hits to second base, and now he's going to test the arm of Brujan. The throw will be cut off by Allen. So a single into right field by Brandon Nimmo. That puts him at first and third with 1 down. Just about took out Soto. He had to leap over the top of it. And now the bat in the hands of Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso enters the action with 98 RBIs this year. That's tied for the most in Major League Baseball. He's tied with Cal Raleigh, catcher for the Mariners. They both have 98 RBIs. Pitch misses high to Pete Alonso.
Yeah, doing my pregame prep, and one of my little notes was limit damage early. Bryce, if he gets to the third inning, he usually gets into a little bit of a groove, and he can really go deep in a game. So he's got to buckle down here.
1-0 pitch. And Alonso, the ground ball to third, taken by Alvarez to second. There's one. Ozzy to first, and there's 2. That's what you want with Bryce Elder on the mound. The sinker gets him the ground ball he needed, and that 5-4-3 double play ends the threat in the bottom of the first inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors.
and changing thousands of lives for the better. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
The flagship station of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets wants to send you to see the season opener in Colorado. Listen for your chance to qualify weekdays during our 4 o'clock hour on 680 The Fan.
Braves nothing, Mets nothing. Into the top of the second inning. No score. It'll be Michael Harris up at the plate to lead it off for the Braves. He'll be followed by Ozzie Albies and Vidal Brujan. And it's the Toyota Stolen Base Challenge inning. Introduce you to our contestant, and for the first pitch to Michael, here it is from Senga, and a fastball misses outside. If the Braves steal a base here in the second inning, our contestant Jerry Cowles will win $200 in free marathon gas cards. You can enter the Toyota Stolen Base Challenge by visiting Braves.com/Stolen Base Challenge. Michael pulls one foul deep down the right field line towards the foul pole, but he hooked it about 30 feet to the right of the pole. And a 1-1 count on Michael Harris. Love the way Michael is swinging the bat. We gave it those numbers earlier in our opening comments about what he's done since the All-Star break. 1-1 to Harris, and he'll swing and tip a forkball into the mid of Luis Torrens. Harris has multiple hits in 5 straight games. He has gone 10 for 21 with 3 homers, 2 doubles, and 8 RBIs in that stretch. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Michael Harris. Senga fires, and Harris whacks one into right field. Coming on, Soto plays it on a bounce, and Michael has another base hit.
It's unbelievable, really. I mean, Michael Harris likes to swing the bat, right? He will expand the zone. He likes to swing at anything that looks good to him, and Senga's a guy that's very comfortable throwing that forkball below the zone, but Michael beat him to the spot. Really nice piece of hitting there. It was clearly a ball, but he hit it hard. Got himself a knock.
11 for his last 22, and hotter than a branding iron since the All-Star break. Here comes Ozzie Albies. Michael a good lead at first. Albies swings and fouls one back, 0-1. Oh, we saw the Braves steal 1 base last night when Profar swiped it back in the third. And we'll see how aggressive Harris wants to be here. And if he can swipe a bag here, that'd make a winner out of our contestant, Jerry Cowles. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Ozzie Albies. Big lead at first. There goes Michael. Pitches high and outside. A head first slide, and he does beat the throw by Torrens. And a stolen base for Michael Harris. And Jerry Cowles, you just won $200 in free marathon gas cards. As we have a winner tonight in the Toyota Stolen Base Challenge inning. Boy, you had Senga timed down perfectly.
Well, we're like Oprah, Ben. We're just giving away money. Gave away money last night in the home run competition. Now stolen base. It pays to listen.
It does. Hopefully that's not our only winner tonight. Base hit could make it 1-0 Braves. 1-1, and Ozzie takes a ball low and inside. I think we mentioned Kodai Senga facing the Braves for the first time this season. He's made 2 career starts versus Atlanta, 2-0 with a 3.97 ERA. One of those wins in 2023, the other one in 2024. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and Ozzie sends one foul into the seats down the left field line. In fact, it was in that game against the Braves last year where he injured himself, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was so good his first year here in 23, and got hurt in 24. Finally made his return against the Braves, halfway through the season, and then blew his calf out and missed the rest of the year. So tough year for him last year.
2-2 to Ozzie. He swings and fouls one off, and he's also been battling some leg injuries this season, hasn't he?
Yes, he did. He missed about a month earlier this year with a hamstring strain. And so you put those. Last year was a shoulder and a calf. This year, hamstring. You got to wonder if, he's a little fragile, which is part of the game. It's a high-stress game on your body. Some guys are better at avoiding injuries than others, but he's missed quite a bit of time.
This is his 3rd year in a 5-year deal with the Mets. 2-2 from Senga. Ozzie out on his front foot, swinging and missing that forkball. I think that's probably the best forkball he's displayed thus far.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. And the thing to consider when the Japanese pitchers come over here is that, they're used to the 6-man rotation. They're used to getting an extra day of rest between starts. So there's always a question there about durability. Are they going to be able to handle that increased workload here?
1 down for Vidal Brujan. Runner at second, 1 out, no score. Brujan takes ball a little bit low and outside. We were chatting with Snit prior to the game. about all the lefties in his lineup tonight, and that's the case for both of these lineups tonight. Both starting pitchers, Elder and Singa, both right-handed pitchers, seeing tons of lefties this evening. 1-0 pitch from Brujan with a soft tapper foul over by the Mets dugout. Braves have just 3 right-handed batters in the lineup with Ozuna, Alvarez, and Allen. Everybody else either a left-handed hitter or a switch hitter. And then for the Mets, they have Alonso, a natural righty, and they have Torrens, a natural righty. Everybody else in their lineup, the other 7, lefties or switch hitters. 1-1 on Brujan. He's a switch hitter. 1-1 pitch and a strike on the outside corner with a fork ball. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for both teams. Singa at the belt. And the 1-2. There's a called third strike. Fork ball over the outside corner. So Brujan goes down looking. You know, a lot of times when a pitcher has a split finger fastball, we'll talk about how they'll use that pitch like a changeup.
Yeah.
And we're discussing the similarities in the splitter grip and the forkball grip. Will forkball pitchers view that pitch the same way that splitter pitchers use their split finger?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of different ways to use it, and that was an interesting one there.
Nacho Alvarez takes a called strike. Kind of loopy, that last one.
Yeah, we talk about tunneling all the time. He's been throwing a lot of high four-seam fastballs here, and what he did there to Brujan was throw a splitter that looked like a high fastball and dropped right down into the zone, fooling Brujan. You know, you got to be so disciplined at the bottom of the zone, you never expect that forkball to drop in the top.
Runner at second, 2 down. And the 0-1 on the way to Nacho Alvarez. And he swings and puts a charge into one, high in the air to deep left center field. Mullins going back, and he calls off Nimmo and makes the catch out in deep center. That ends the top of the second. Braves had a leadoff single and the stolen base, but nothing beyond that.
Here we are, Arlington, Texas. This is the Graham Slam Burger. So 2 patties, brisket, caramelized onion, American cheese, ranch aioli, or ranch mayo, if you will.
Oh yeah, we're in Texas.
Yeah.
It's something that you definitely want to take a picture of and just put on the gram. I took a bite of it, but it still looks dope.
It's a burger that looks great, but also delicious.
And it'll be Sweeney backpedaling, and he can't make the play. And there goes the no-hitter.
Rolling, does it go fair? Yes, it does. That's a fair ball.
Oh, she's giving it to him. They're up 6-1 in the 8th. She's giving it to him and making him like it.
Doing the pop-up dance, and he dropped it. You don't see that very often.
Abrams is going to think about going to third. The throw too high there. Abrams dives back in. Tag applied this time by Riley. What just happened?
Fans, this is John Michaels reminding you that Jeff Francoeur joins Finn, home team, and me in the locker room every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on your radio home of the Braves, 680 The Fan.
Into the bottom of the second inning. It's a scoreless game. It'll beat Jeff McNeil up to the plate for the Mets. First pitch he sees is a ball outside. For select home games at Citi Field, they have a group of break dancers that put on a show in between innings called the Queen's Crew. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Jeff McNeil. McNeil sends one foul. And I always find it humorous anytime they perform because they'll show crowd shots afterwards, and it's as if the Mets fans are embarrassed. I mean, it looks like a bad Saturday Night Live skit.
I didn't think that's where you're going with that.
Here's the 1-1. McNeil takes a called strike. It happens every time, and it just makes me laugh. Every day they show these dancers, and they're so serious and break dancing, and they got all these moves and all this swag, and then they show the people in the stands, and they're completely unamused. 1-2 on the way to McNeil on a fly ball to deep center field. Got a little bit of carry to it, but no problem for Michael Harris. Over to his right, onto the warning track to make the catch. And one down in the second inning. Only the original Louisiana brand hot sauce is bold enough to be the official hot sauce of the Atlanta Braves. The original Louisiana brand hot sauce. Louisiana Hot. Buy you some. Bryce Elder in the first inning had 4 ground balls. That's what you want out of him. We got that big double play to end the first inning. One down for Cedric Mullins. Mullins puts a bunt down that goes foul down the third base line. Last start for Elder, 6 innings against the Marlins, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. Took a loss. And like we mentioned, he's lost his last 3 starts and posted an 8.80 ERA in that span. This is his 10th road start this year. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Mullins swings and misses at a pretty good slider. And believe it or not, Elder's road split's better than his home splits. He's got a 5.61 road ERA, which is better than his ERA over 6 at home. This is his 5th career appearance versus the Mets, his 4th as a starter. He's never lost to New York. 2-0 with a 4.74 ERA against him. Pitch misses low to Mullins. And those 2 wins both came in his All-Star campaign of 2023. He has not faced them this year. 1-2 to Mullins, and that's a little bit low. Well, something that plays into Bryce Elder's strengths, we've already seen in this game, that ground ball double play to end the first inning. There's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Cedric Mullins. Mullins sends one foul. Bryce Elder's ground ball percentage is very high, and I think when it comes to all his metrics, Darren, you'd say that's probably where he excels the most.
Yep.
Is that ground ball percentage.
Yeah, keeping the ball on the ground, for sure.
2-2 to Mullins. Pop back and foul. Well, the reason that plays into Bryce's strengths, the Mets have it into the 3rd most double plays in all of Major League Baseball this year. That double play they hit into to end the first inning was the 96th double play they've hit into this year. There's the 2-2 pitch. That's low and inside. That trails only the A's and the Astros. The A's have hit into 98. The Astros have hit into 97. And they're the Mets with 96 right behind those 2.
Yeah, this Met squad is not, I wouldn't say they're fleet of foot. They do steal a fair number of bases, but they're really adept at that, but not all that fast.
3-2 got him looking. That's a beautiful sinker on the inside corner, and he wins the battle versus Mullins. And there's the first strikeout of the game by Bryce Elder. And that's our Gas South bringing the Heat strikeout. Just like Bryce Elder, Gas South is bringing the Heat with no deposits, no hidden fees, and simple natural gas plans. This difference is good.
And that's a great sign for Braves fans. That front hip two-seamer is a big weapon against lefties. We mentioned there's 7 of those in the lineup tonight.
Ronnie Mauricio fouls one back.
7 guys that will be standing in the left-handed batter's box. But all of Bryce's best starts this season, he's been able to execute that pitch consistently because it's such a hard one for a lefty to pull the trigger on.
0-1 to Mauricio. There's a strike. That has to be the difference maker for him.
It is. And you'll see a good proportion of Bryce's strikeouts will be looking, and that's because of that extreme movement on that pitch to left-handers and right-handers away as well.
0-2 to Mauricio, and he blew it by him. Swing and a miss at a fastball. And a good inning for Bryce Elder. A 1-2-3 frame, 2 strikeouts on the log there. We go to the top of the 3rd inning, no score.
You need all the energy you can get for game day. Luckily at Georgia Power, we know a thing or two about.
The name of the business is Legacy Catering. We all were talking about how Mom taught us all how to cook. She was a cook at the public school system for ages. So we all started cooking with her, so we decided, to do the business, so we went to figure out what we're going to call it. So we said, let's cook in honor of our mother. So that's what Legacy came in. And just remember that Legacy Catering is about people. And this is what barbecuing is all about. And this is why we love it.
Inning going to be Allen, Profar, and Olson. And facing the right-hander, Kodai Senga. A couple of base hits for the Braves, but no runs yet. There's a ball low and inside. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Get one consistent internet price for the next 5 years. No contracts, no curveballs. 1-0 from Senga. And Allen takes a strike. Allen 1 for 6 in the series, has his average at 223. Son-in-law of former Major Leaguer Brett Boone. And the 1-1 pitch to Allen. And a ball outside, 2-1. That one hit came last night. He had a single in the 3rd inning. Also walked with the bases loaded, picked up an RBI, which was his 19th. Lays off a high cutter on a 3-1 count of the Braves shortstop. Senga's 3-1. Allen swings and misses at a fastball. May have been ball 4. Time called by Allen. Taps 3 corners of the plate with the end of his black bat. Senga spins the 3-2 to the plate. And he swings and pops one up. Shallow right center field. Soto coming in. And that is Soto's ball, calling off McNeil at the last second. And one out here on the top of the 3rd inning. The Braves have played 9 games against these Mets this season. The Braves have won 6 of the 9. So counting tonight, there are 4 games left against the Mets. And that'll be in Atlanta August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And the Braves need just one more win of those 4 games to take the season series. Profar takes a slow curve in for a strike. That was at 66 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, that is wild. I thought that was going to the backstop. It looked like a high fastball to me.
0-1 to Profar. Ball inside, 1-1. And that Jurickson flinching a little bit.
Understandably so.
Senga, 42 pitches, 27 strikes. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Good fastball there, 95. So he throws that 95-mile-an-hour fastball and just 2 pitches prior, a 66-mile-an-hour curve.
And that's why it's hard to hit in the major leagues. That's almost 30 miles an hour difference.
1-2, and Profar takes a called 3rd strike. Fastball, 97. That's unfair. 97 with a heater and just a few pitches prior, a soap bubble curveball.
Yeah, that's his best bullet we've seen so far, 97. When he was pitching in Japan, that velocity was up towards 97. Now he sits right around 95, but obviously has the ability to grab a few extra miles an hour when he wants them.
So 2 away for Olson. Matt takes the ball outside. By the way, if the Braves can win tonight or one of those games against the Mets in Atlanta at the end of the month, like I mentioned, they take the season series. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Matt Olson. And Matt takes the ball outside. And should the Braves do that, this would be the 8th year in a row and the 9th time in the last 10 years that the Braves would have won the season series against the Mets. And that's always fun. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Matt Olson. Hitters count. Matt swings and belts one through the right side. That had steam coming off of it as he sent it through the right side in between McNeil and Alonso.
You know what? There is nothing better than that. Even in a down year, you can still take the season series against one of your 2 biggest division rivals.
It's something that Joe and I have talked a lot about because you want to beat the Marlins and the Nationals and the Phillies really bad. And those are all big rivalry series anytime we see those teams. But I think this rivalry between the Braves and the Mets, there's a deep drive towards left center field off the bat of Drake Baldwin. Over to his right now, Mullins makes the catch in deep left center. And that ends the 3rd. But finishing that thought, I think this is the cream of the crop when it comes to Braves rivalry series. Anytime they...
The newfangled idea of the time was night games, and teams thought that the shiny material of satin would reflect the stadium lights better. But satin comes with all kinds of issues. Despite all its drawbacks, This shiny material really does create a show-stopping jersey.
Salty tears of Mets fans. That's Louisiana hot. Buy you some.
Hey Braves fans, this is Kelly Crawl. Listen for me with the Locker Room Team, Tuesday and Thursday mornings from 6 to 10 on 680 The Fan.
Ben, Darren, and Jay Chad with you here at Citi Field in New York. No score into the bottom of the third inning. 8-9-1 coming up for Carlos Mendoza's Mets, starting with Brett Beatty. Folks, you need all the energy you can get for game day. At Georgia Power, we know that energy costs are an important part of every budget, and we're committed to providing tools and assistance to make a difference so you can save energy for the game. Learn more at georgiapower.com/myenergy. Brett Beatty's had a nice series, 4 for 8 with a homer, and he swings at the first pitch and slices one foul into the seats of the lower bowl down the left field line. Beatty's hitting .236 for the season, but in home games here at Citi Field, he's batting .298. There's the 0-1 pitch. None of his high outside. So his problems only start when he packs a suitcase, because here in Queens, he's felt right at home. 1-1 from Elder. He misses high, 2-1. A couple of Texans going at it right here. Brett Beatty from Austin and Bryce Elder from Decatur, northwest of Dallas. All right, the 2-1 pitch on the way to Brett Beatty. Beatty a lunge and a miss at a good slider. That pitch has been sharp.
That thing really had a lot of downward action. Really pretty. Noticed here Bryce is using his four-seamer a little bit more than usual. He usually only throws about 10% of the time. Tonight here is almost 27%. So 2 fastballs to worry about for these Mets hitters.
2-2 to Beatty, low and in. What'll be interesting, Darren, to me, is after he finishes Torrens, what it looks like his stuff against that lineup for the second time through, because some of these starts in go-rounds past, that's when he's run into trouble. 3-2 pitch, and he just missed low with a sinker, and it's a leadoff walk.
Yeah, you're right, Ben. That top of the lineup is, murderer's row, and he's going to have to be better next time. First inning, he got pretty lucky. Ball was moving, got some ground balls, but his location has been better in the second inning. Obviously not great timing with that leadoff walk there, so he's got to buckle down and get that ground ball.
31 pitches for Elder, 20 strikes. Pick off over to first base and back into the dive Beatty. Luis Torrens is a .216 hitting catcher. They've had Alvarez behind the plate in the first 2 games of this series. Torrens takes a called strike. This is the first time we've seen Torrens in the series altogether. He's been hitting almost .300 over his last 8 starts, so he's been making it count. No score, bottom of the third. Runner at first, no one out. Elder brings it. Torrens a chopper to short. Allen charges. Underhand shovel to Ozzie for 1. Over to first base and a high toss, and Matt brings it down for a double play. Second double play turned by the Braves in this one, and it took Matt Olson up on a tiptoe to bring it down. But excellent job by Allen and Ozzie up the middle to turn that first out.
And that's the beauty of being a ground ball pitcher. Bryce just shoved a sinker down and into Torrens, the right-handed hitter. Torrens thought he'd get the barrel to it, but all he got was handle. And the Braves infielders did a great job of turning that one.
2 double plays hit into by the Mets in this game. Here's Lindor, who is 0 for 1 with a ground out, and a ball outside of him, 1-0. Tonight's game is one of 7 games on the Major League scoreboard tonight. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Lindor takes a ball high and outside. Cincinnati is off tonight. And that's important for these Mets fans, because the Mets currently hold the final National wild card spot, but they enter the action just 1 game up on the Reds, as the Reds are trying to move their way into the postseason picture. 2-0 to Lindor, And Lindor with a high fly ball to deep center field. Harris going to go back to the wall. Harris climbs the wall. It's out of his reach. And it's 1-0 Mets with a home run by Francisco Lindor. Lindor's struggles have been widely publicized here in New York since the All-Star break. But here in this series, he is now 4 for 9, and that's his first home run in this series. Makes it a 1-0 lead for the Mets as Juan Soto comes to the plate. First pitch to Soto. There's a ball outside.
We talked earlier about how walks and home runs are the recipe for disaster for Bryce Elder. How big is that double play erasing that leadoff walk now? Just a solo homer there for Lindor.
Chopper, left side, charging in now Nacho Alvarez, cuts off Allen, gloves and fires, and there's the final out. But a home run by Lindor makes it 1-0 Mets as they pick up a run on one hit, no errors, none left. Off to the top of the... It's a 1-0 lead for the Mets into the top of the fourth inning. Marcell Ozuna will be leading off, and before he climbs in, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Braves Radio Network.
Every Atlanta Braves game, live on the air and streaming free on the app.
WCNN North Atlanta, a Dickey broadcasting station.
The Fan.
First pitch, a called strike on Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna, Harris, and Albies for the Braves here in the top of the fourth inning. Both teams have 3 hits, with the Mets leading 1-0 after a solo homer by Francisco Lindor in the bottom of the third. Ozuna sends one foul into the seats down the right field line. Ozuna popped out to first base to end the first inning. Trying to get that average back over 240, sitting right at 239 to go along with his 20 homers. His 20 home runs, most on the team, one ahead of Matt Olson. And a ball high, and a lot of that, Darren, because of this home run binge he's had here lately.
Yeah, there's much speculation about Marcell being traded, and ultimately he didn't. And I wonder if that was bothering him a little bit. He's really gone on a tear since then.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Ozuna takes one high. I believe that can certainly have an impact on a player. In fact, you and I were working together on trade deadline day, and you're telling me how nerve-wracking a day that can be.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine those weeks leading up to the day can be just as nerve-wracking. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Ozuna, and he missed inside 3-2.
Yeah, Marcell seems like a fun-loving, easygoing guy that just takes life as it comes, but I promise you, life is just easier if you stay here as a Brave and you're already in your house, you're comfortable, and you know everybody. So potentially that could have been bothering him.
3-2 from Senga. And Ozuna with a fly ball towards center field. Cedric Mullins sprinting in, still coming in, slides to it, and makes the catch in shallow center. Feet first slide, and he timed that slide on the grass perfectly, and one down here in the fourth inning. Northside Hospital, for a healthier future together. Look to Northside. Michael Harris, 1 for 1 in the game. And he's looking for another multiple hit game. Again, he has multiple hits in 5 straight games. So this would be number 6 with a base hit at any point the rest of the night. And he swings and strikes one foul up into the second deck along the left field line. Last night, it was the grand slam by Harris that flipped the game around for the Braves. They were trailing 6-0. They had made it a 6-5 game, loaded the bases, and Harris hit a grand slam. Gave the Braves a 9-6 lead. They went on to win 11-6. 0-1 to Harris, low and inside. Here's the wild part about that. It was his second career grand slam, and the 2 grand slams came almost a year apart to the day. His first grand slam was in San Francisco. Big swing and a miss at a curveball, 1-2. His first grand slam was a year ago today. And that was when he came back from the injured list from the hamstring injury a year ago and put one into McCovey Cove. And then he hit one last night. So 2 career grand slams almost a year apart to the day. Missed it by 1 day. Base is empty here. 1 down on the 1-2 pitch on the way to Michael Harris from Kodai Senga. And Harris got a piece of it, fouled off a forkball, 2-2.
Hitting a grand slam has got to be just an amazing feeling as a hitter. And I was trying to think back to my last grand slam, and it's probably T-ball, if we're being honest. I just can't I can't remember. I feel like if I hit one, I would have remembered.
How many did you give up?
Plenty of those.
Here's the 2-2. And Harris sends one foul. Well, any grand slam is going to be a thrill no matter what the score is. But last night had to be the ultimate thrill because it's a grand slam that gives you the lead. I mean, what a clutch moment for Michael. And it's been a second half since the All-Star break filled with clutch moments for Michael Harris. 1-0 Mets, top of the fourth. Senga's 60th pitch of the game, and the 2-2. Harris swings and misses at a forkball.
You mentioned that's now his 61st pitch. In his 5 starts since he's been back from the IL, he's been averaging only about 75 pitches a game and has not gotten out in the 6th inning. So, he's cruising right now, but there's some questions there about how long they're going to let him go.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. And another element to that is how often they've had to rely on that bullpen in this series. Ozzie Albies yanks one foul on the right field line into the screen, 0-1.
Yeah, the bullpens have been taxed quite a bit here in this series. Both the Braves, too. So the Braves are asking Bryce Elder to go a little deeper in this game and save some arms down there, too.
0-1 to Ozzie. Ozzie smokes one in the air to deep right field. That takes flight back to the wall. Soto back, and that is gone. And the game is tied as Ozzie Albies just rocked one over the right field wall for his 10th homer of the year. Ozzie coming around third, and that third base dugout celebrating. Ozzie's 45th RBI of the year.
Yeah, that was a fence scraper. Could have been just a few inches over the fence, but hey, that doesn't matter. They all count the same.
Put it right into the bullpen. And that's the first home run of the game for the Braves, meaning you'll save at least $75 on a set of select tires at Tire Discounters tomorrow only. Plus a free alignment and a free oil change. Swing and a miss by Vidal Brujan. Stay tuned for the Hyundai postgame show to see how much you'll save tomorrow at Tire Discounters. Visit braves.tirediscounters.com to learn more. 0-1 on Brujan, a 1-1 game, and Brujan lines one in the air to deep left field. Nimmo ranges to his right. He's there, makes a chest-high catch for the out, and that is the top of the fourth. Well, Lindor hit a solo homer for the Mets in the bottom of the third. Ozzie fights back with a solo homer in the top of the fourth. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning in a 1-1 game.
There's a tidal wave of clean car happiness sweeping across Braves country.
Chuck and Chernoff on 680 The Fan.
Braves and Mets tied at 1 into the bottom of the fourth inning as Brandon Nimmo leads off the Mets. The team that has scored first in each game in this series has eventually lost that game. Braves had the early lead on Tuesday night with a 1-0 lead and then lost 13-5. There's the pitch on the way to Nimmo. That'll miss high and outside. Mets had a 6-0 lead after 2 innings last night, and the Braves won 11-6. Well, tonight the Mets had the early 1-0 lead, and the Braves have since tied it with a home run by Ozzie Albies. And we're tied at 1. Called strike on the outside corner. 7 of the Mets' 12 losses during the stretch where they have dropped 12 of their last 14 games have featured a blown lead. So no lead has been saved for them. 1-1 in for a called strike. Only the Rangers have more blown lead losses in that span across Major League Baseball. Rangers with 8 of them. My goodness. But the Mets with 7 blown leads over their last 12 losses. 1-2, send foul into the seats down the left field line and out of play.
Yeah, that's just the most frustrating way to lose. Maybe you don't want to lose 15-0, even if you don't blow a lead. But man, you keep seeing those leads disappear. It gets really demoralizing for the players and for the fan base.
And for this team fighting for a postseason spot, here's the 1-2 pitch. Nimmo swings and misses, and there's strike 3. A slider got him. 1 down in the fourth inning. We mentioned that the Mets are currently 1 game ahead of the Reds for the final wild card spot. And those two teams still have a 3-game series against each other. The Mets go to Cincinnati in the first week of September. And the rest of the schedule for the Mets is very challenging, especially their month of September. Here's Pete Alonso, and he sends one foul into the seats down the right field line. In the month of September, the Mets will face the Tigers, the Reds, the Phillies, the Rangers, the Padres, and the Cubs all that month.
Oof.
That is rough to finish up. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And Alonso takes one outside.
Yeah, if they don't have their pitching figured out by then, that's going to be a tough crash to the end of the season.
Yeah, it could be a barrel roll across the finish line or they'll end up flat on their face. Here's the 1-1, and Alonso takes the ball low. If the Braves are to win tonight, like we mentioned, that would give the Braves the series, but it would also mean 13 losses in the last 15 games for the Mets. And there is a historical note to a stretch like that. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Pulled foul by the Braves dugout. Since the year 2000, only 5 teams have made the postseason after losing 13 of 15 at any point during the regular season. The 2017 Dodgers, who lost the World Series that year, the 06 Dodgers, the 05 Padres, the 2000 Mariners, and the 2000 Yankees. It's pulled foul by Alonso. What's interesting about that collection of teams, there is one team in there that won the World Series that year. That was the 2000 Yankees. And their losing 13 of 15 actually came in the final 15 games of the regular season, if you can believe it. 2-2 pitches low. So that 2000 Yankees team went 2-13 in the final 15 games of the season and then flipped the switch, blitzed through the postseason, won the World Series. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And Alonso swings and misses at a fastball for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts by Elder and 2 down.
Another four-seam fastball there for the strikeout for Bryce. I mentioned it earlier. Him throwing that four-seamer more when these guys are expecting only two-seamers gives them another wrinkle to his game. It gets them off his slider as well. So Bryce has all the ingredients to bake a good game cake here tonight.
Hopefully it continues to rise. Here's the pitch on the way to McNeil. There's a ball low and outside. Braves 1, Mets 1, bottom of the fourth. Bryce Elder searching for a 1-2-3 inning. And McNeil hits one in the air to right field. Brujan coming in and reaches down, makes a knee-high catch. And down they go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Good inning for Bryce Elder. We go to the top of the fifth, tied at 1.
Braves fans, this is Mike Morgan, founder and CEO of 13
Spa inning, and Tidal Wave is making Braves country clean car country all season long. And thanks to that clean bottom of the fourth inning, tomorrow is a clean inning car wash celebration day at Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Stop by and get half off their best wash membership for the first month. Braves country is clean car country thanks to Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Here's the pitch all the way to Nacho Alvarez, and there's a called strike from Kodai Senga. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information. Both teams with a solo homer. Albies with a homer for the Braves, Lindor a homer for the Mets. Going to Nacho. Nacho with a fly ball to right field. Juan Soto drifts back a stride or two, makes the catch and one away here in the fifth inning. Nick Allen 0 for 1 with a fly out to right field. He's coming up to the plate. Allen with the eye black on and those sports glasses, waiting on the pitch. Here it is to Allen. There's a called strike. After Allen, it'll be Profar. 1-1 game in the top of the fifth inning. And the pitch on the way to Nick Allen. And he takes a strike. Pretty good looking sweeper. We're seeing that deep arsenal from Senga. We mentioned he's got everything. Fastball, forkball, cutter, slider, sinker, sweeper, curve, and he's got an eephus pitch that he's used before.
Yeah, to me, that curveball has really been used nicely here tonight to keep these Braves off balance and show them something 25, 30 miles an hour slower. And that sweeper looks good, too.
Here's the 0-2. Allen swings and misses at a slider for strike 3. 6 strikeouts now for Kodai Senga.
There you go. He's got the slider, the sweeper, and the curveball. So 3 different breaking balls going 3 different directions. Oh, and one of the best fork balls in the game, too. So lot for these Braves hitters to deal with.
I think it's really interesting what you mentioned earlier, how Senga has not recorded an out in the 6th inning since coming back from the IL on July 11th. Profar swings and misses. I think that'll be put to the test. It has to be his motivation because he's in the 5th inning. He's looking very sharp.
Yeah, from the way he looks tonight, that stat doesn't make sense because he's throwing the ball very well.
He's thrown 70 pitches, and like Darren mentioned earlier, he's been averaging 74 pitches since coming back from IL, which is just over a month ago. 0-1, a lunge and a miss by Profar. Another ghost forkball by Senga. It's a pitch that he loves so much that he actually has a logo for that pitch that he has on some of his gloves, which is a ghost emoji holding a pitchfork. There's the 0-2 pitch on the way to Jerks and Profar. And that's low, 1-2. It's a pretty cool little logo.
It is, yeah. There's no nicer baseball glove than the ones made in Japan.
Is that right?
They make fantastic gloves, and I'm sure I can't see from here, but I'm sure he's wearing a Japanese glove brand. They do a really nice job with custom gloves over there.
1-2 pitch, and Profar ropes one down the right field line, but foul, right outside the line. Still 1-2. Did you ever get to try one on?
No, I didn't. I played with Koji Ohara and Yoshinori Tatuyama. So these guys, they tend to like bigger gloves too. And they all, if you look at them, they like a solid web, especially if they're pitchers, so that it hides their pitch grips and the way the ball looks in their gloves, so the hitters can't see it. But I never played catch with one.
Here's the 1-2 on the way from Senga. And Profar pounds one on the ground to second base, taking off one bounce by McNeil. A little lob over to Alonso for the out, and the Braves go down 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th inning. So nothing happening for Atlanta. We're halfway home.
This time can't get it, and neither could the fan.
Boy, that's when you don't wear flip-flops.
Caminero strikes out, and the bat gets a 7.5 on the distance, but it's stuck to the landing.
That's poked and that hits the umpire. The ball is in play, and it's a base hit for Frazier.
Roberto Ortiz did what he could to try and get out of the way, couldn't.
Took the wrong direction. He just didn't know which way to go.
The Braves don't play at 7. Join me for the new Buck Belue Show here on The Fan, 680 and 93.7, home of the Braves.
Alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you in a 1-1 game from Citi Field. It'll be Cedric Mullins leading it off for the Mets. Bryce Elder goes back to work, and his first pitch is a ball outside. Coming to you from the borough of Queens. Braves and Mets have split the first 2 games in this series. There's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Mullins, and Mullins with a fly ball to deep center field, but drifting over to his right now is Michael Harris. He's got it. Something that I learned today, this borough of Queens is actually named after an actual queen. And like Maryland is named for Queen Mary, and the Virgin Queen, Queen Elizabeth I, is who Virginia has its namesake for. Such is the case here with the borough of Queens, and it was named Queens to honor Queen Catherine of Braganza, the wife of King Charles II, and they named the county of Kings after King Charles, believe it or not. Kings and Queens right next to each other. Brooklyn's in Kings. There's a called strike. And Queen Catherine was born in Portugal but was married to Charles back when the British colony in New York was established. Here's the 0-1 pitch. A swing and a miss, 0-2.
All right.
So that's where Kings and Queens
I didn't even know that was Kings County. That is interesting.
We get the borough of Queens and the county of Kings, and right next to each other. 0-2 on Roddy Mauricio. Here it is from Elder. That'll be sent foul. 0-2 on Roddy Mauricio. I think that King Charles is where the dogs get their name from. The King Charles breed of dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. That misses high and outside. They say that he liked to have those dogs in his lap to warm his lap, and it became a King Charles breed of dog.
Well, they are cute.
Here's a 1-2 pitch on the way to Mauricio. He swings and misses. Another strikeout by Elder.
Yeah, nice slider at the bottom of the zone there. Yeah, he had Mauricio. He was the one last time up that he got with that front door sinker. And he's really playing with the levels here tonight nicely as a pitcher. And that's all you can do to mess up with the hitter's timing. You give him something else to think about, and you sneak that slider in for a strikeout.
Well, it's a really interesting moment of the game right here. You might not think much about it. It's a 1-1 game. It's the bottom of the 5th, and the number 8 hitters coming up to the plate for the Mets. But there's a decision coming up for Brian Snitker. Here's the pitch on the way to Beatty. That'll be fouled back. And that is the top of the order about to come up for the 3rd time. And does he let him face the top of the order again in the 6th inning? Elder can make a case for himself, Darren, with a 1-2-3 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. Only at 59 pitches, been very efficient thus far.
0-1 to Beatty. Check swing. They appeal. Didn't go. 1-1.
If you're asking for my opinion, which you weren't, but I'm going to give it to you. When Bryce is good, you let him go.
Yeah.
You saw what he did in San Francisco. His 12 strikeout game, 8 innings. So if he's good, you got to let him run.
1-1 to Beatty. And he just scraped the zone with a really good-looking slider there. 1-2.
Because when he has everything working, he's a difficult guy to hit because it's a unique presentation. So I'd let him go.
Well, he's retired 6 in a row since allowing the home run to Lindor. Game tied at 1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. In search of his 3rd 1-2-3 inning. And he cuts loose a 1-2. And he missed high with a fastball.
I mean, I would have given up a fingernail for a 1-2-3 inning last night. And he's already got a few of them here.
You might have been tempted to give up a child for a 1-2-3 inning last night. 2-2. One hopper stabbed by Bryce Elder. Excellent defensive play by Bryce. Tosses over to first base for the out. That's our Truist play of the game, brought to you by Truist. When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares.
Interrumpimos este video para recordarte que puedes endulzar tu día con una dulcerapia de la lechera.
What else going to happen today? Henderson's bat goes flying into the stands on a strikeout.
That's not good right there.
See Andy looking at it like, hey, not supposed to be doing that.
Stick to
basketball there, right?
Oh, no catch. Love to get that one back.
Alonso lost the bat as he flung at that high fastball.
That's going to keep him up tonight. Can't make that catch.
You got to keep that clean, right? You got to catch that.
Season. Join me, Nick Cellini, and Chris Domino weekdays 10 to 2 on 680 The Fan or the Fan app.
Braves and Mets tied at 1 into the top of the 6th inning. Folks, did you know the original Louisiana brand hot sauce is the official hot sauce of the Atlanta Braves, made with peppers, vinegar, and salt, and the perfect balance to make the food you're eating taste better? It's Louisiana Hot. Buy you some. Matt Olson leading it off for the Braves. First pitch from Senga and a ball low. 6th inning means it's the Georgia Lottery home run jackpot inning. Introduce you to our contestant after the 1-0 pitch to Matt Olson. This will be the 76th pitch of the game by Senga. Righty cuts it loose. Olson with a mighty swing to miss the fastball. If the Braves hit a home run this inning, our contestant Andrew Lambert from Marietta, Georgia, will win $1,000. And if you'd like to enter for your chance to win at least $1,000 from the Georgia Lottery, visit 680thefan.com/GA Lottery. Georgia Lottery, today could be the day. 1-1 and Olson takes a ball low. Olson batting .263, has one hit tonight. 1 for 2 with a single and 3 hits in the series. 2-1 from Senga. Fouled back into the screen. 2-2.
Senga hasn't made many mistakes tonight, but that was one right there. That was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the mat. We talked earlier today about how well the Braves have been taking advantage of mistakes lately.
2-2 to Olson. Low and in almost hit him. 3-2.
You know, when the opposing pitcher is on his game, you're not going to get many mistakes. You might only get a few in a baseball game. If he's struggling, you're probably going to get a mistake every at bat. You know, that's good hitting. So, got to get them when they come.
3-2. Pulled Fowler by the Mets dugout. Well, they have been doing that very well for about the last couple of weeks. I mean, this is a number you threw out on the broadcast earlier about how the Brewers are the only team since the All-Star break score more runs than the Braves have.
Yeah, you got to love that to see as a Braves fan. We knew this offense was talented, and we're going to try to be competitive next year, trying to win the World Series. So you love to see this offense come on strong in the second half.
Again, the 3-2. Outside to Matt Olson. There's a leadoff walk, and it's the first walk allowed by Senga. And with that, Tyler Rogers up and tossing in the Mets bullpen. Drake Baldwin with a single in the first inning, flied out to center field in the third inning. And now he bats versus Senga. Game tied at 1 in the 6th. Olson a good lead at first base, and the first pitch on the way to Baldwin, a ground ball to second, gloved by McNeil, throws to second, and that's the only play they have. That's a 4-6 put out of Olson. Fielder's choice for Drake Baldwin, and he's at first base for Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna with a pop out to first and a fly out to center. Senga brings it. And he misses low with a sinker. 83 pitches for Senga, 55 strikes. He has 6 strikeouts in the game, 1 walk. 1-0 to Ozuna, and a ground ball foul right outside the bag at third and off the tarp down there. Solid play made by the ball boy down there. Mets got a solo homer from Francisco Lindor in the bottom of the third inning. And then the Braves answered with a solo homer from Albies in the top of the fourth. And that has been it. One apiece. 1-1 to Ozuna. He'll swing and miss at a fastball.
Yeah, this feels like a real baseball game compared to the two we've seen the last two nights, which were akin to like banana ball. Just crazy stuff happening left and right.
The series has been absurd until tonight. There's a 1-2 pitch on the way to Ozuna. And a miss high. It was like arena baseball the first two games in this series.
That's a good way to put it.
Tonight, order has been restored with good pitching from both teams. 2-2 to Ozuna. And he swings and fouls one off the gear of Luis Torrens. A couple of finals already around Major League Baseball. Get to those in a moment when we get to our SIA National League scoreboard. And those scores we get to in a little while, delivered to you by SIA LTL Freight, the official freight carrier of the Atlanta Braves. Orioles defeated the Mariners 5-3. They're trying to cool down Seattle. Seattle comes here next. Senga brings it. And Ozuna out in front, swinging and missing a sinker. And 2 down in the inning. 7 strikeouts for Senga. Another final. Toronto beat Chicago 2-1. That Cubs team has fallen to 8 games back of the Brewers. Brewers just keep on winning. They're off tonight, and they've won 12 in a row. Phillies have a 2-1 lead on the Nationals. That game's in Washington. They're in the bottom of the 7th, with Philly leading that one. There's Michael Harris. Harris takes a ball low. Diamondbacks and Rockies start up a little bit later. They start up in about 15 minutes, actually. They're in the top of the 6th in Cleveland, with the Guardians leading the Marlins 5-4. And the Twins have a 3-0 lead on the Tigers in the 3rd inning. That pitch misses there. So we're about to see those Guardians. They've been a hot bunch lately.
Yeah, it'll be good to see what they have to offer. Then that Mariners-Orioles game, I watched some of that today, which isn't really that interesting, but it was in the MLB flagship store.
Oh, really?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, the whole wall is screens, and they're playing the games as they happen. It's really neat.
2-0 to Harris, right outside. That's not too far from our hotel, is it?
No, just a couple blocks. So I happened to walk by it, popped in. I've never seen so many baseball hats.
That's cool.
And all the special editions from each team. It's a pretty cool store. 2 stories if you get a chance to go in there.
3-0 to Harris on the strike. Did you purchase anything in there today?
Well, one thing I have enough of, Ben, is baseball stuff. I got probably 200 hats at my house that really don't see the light of day all that often.
That you likely didn't pay a dime for.
Right.
They were earned. 3-1 and a big chopper up the middle to base it into center field. Baldwin hits the bag at second, continues to motor over to third base. And a single by Michael Harris is his 2nd base hit of the night. And this run for Michael Harris is something special. And for Harris, that's now multiple hits in 6 straight games.
And also 14 of his last 22 games. So, man, he is hitting the ball hard and finding holes. It's fun to watch.
That'll be it for Senga. So he recorded 2 outs in the 6th inning, which is the most he's recorded and the deepest he's gone since coming back from the IL, but he can't escape the 6th inning. He comes out after 93 pitches, and the Mets.
Your opponents have been cowering in fear when you step up to the plate, Gemini, because you're gaining a reputation as an all-star slugger. You've been blasting balls into the upper decks, and crowds have been cheering you on as you round the bases. Take advantage of this spectacular moment of your career and keep smashing balls out of the park.
Stottlemyre still wants somebody. There's Randy Johnson, the big unit. He towers over everybody. Randy's got to change his cap.
Oh, jeez.
There you go. That looks better. Get that D-backs hat on, Randy.
Listen for your chance to qualify weekdays during our 4 o'clock hour on 680 The Fan.
Top of the 6th here at Citi Field. Score stands 1-1. Only offense we've had tonight come by way of 2 solo homers, one by each team. Kodai Senga was pretty good tonight. Went 5 2/3, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, and just 1 walk. On to relieve him, recently acquired right-hander Tyler Rogers. He came over from the Giants at the trade deadline. He's pitched in 59 games this season, which is good for second in the league, trailing only Tony Santillan with 60. And we might know Rogers from his time with the Giants. Has been with them his whole career. Famous for having the lowest arm slot in the major leagues.
He is a knuckle scraper for sure. Here's Ozzie Albies. Ozzie drove in a run with a home run earlier. Now trying to drive in a run with a base hit right here. Runners at the corners, 2 down, and a first pitch sinker swung on and missed. Ozzie is 2 for 4 in his career versus Tyler Rogers. Michael Harris at first, Drake Baldwin at third, and a base hit would give the Braves the lead for the first time of the game. 0-1 to Ozzie, and he flips one in the air out to left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Baldwin will score, and that looping liner by Ozzie Albies makes it 2-1 Braves here in the top of the 6th inning. Able to just serve it into left field for the RBI, and it's turning into a nice night for Ozzie Albies, who is 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs.
Yeah, beautiful piece of hitting. That's all that was needed there. Tyler Rogers, you might think low arm slot righty, not really that good against lefties, but he is tough on lefties. He's so adept at changing eye levels to lefties and righties, so really good at bat there from Ozzie.
That run charged to Senga. Inning continues now for Vidal Brujan. And Brujan swings a little tapper in front of the plate. Pouncing on it now, the catcher Torrens throws to first base in time for the out. And that ends the top of the 6th inning. Well, the Braves take the lead. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Braves.
Well, this is the most famous jersey in baseball, right? The Yankee pinstripes, the interlocking NY, and the Midnight Navy. I was a Yankee fan growing up my whole life, diehard, and became a free agent after 7 years with the Rockies, and I wanted to be a Yankee so bad. Putting this jersey on for a headshot for the first time, it felt different than any other shirt I'd ever put on in my career.
Someone who grew up in the era of the twist, the locomotion, the Freddy, and other outrageous dances, the floss is easily the worst of all time.
The fan did touch that ball, and that's a big whoops.
Any relation to Grant?
I don't know. That guy was having a hard time figuring out what screen he was supposed to be looking at.
What a play! Alan Roden! And hopefully he is all right.
Look at
it's his eye black.
That's his eye black. It has been transferred from face to wall.
Is how doers get more done.
Download the Fan app now.
Bryce Elder and the Braves have a 2-1 lead here at Citi Field in New York. And it'll be Elder facing Torrens, Lindor, and Soto here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Braves have some guys in the bullpen stretching, but no one throwing yet. There's a first pitch strike on Luis Torrens. Alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you for the rubber game of this series in New York. 0-1 to Torrens, swung on and missed 0-2. Elder trying to finish up his second trip through the Mets order. And the only thing he's given up was a home run to Francisco Lindor. Outside of that, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and he's had 2 double plays turned behind him. 0-2 pitch. Hot shot out to third. That'll be gloved by Nacho Alvarez. And his throw across the diamond is a good one. And Elder has retired 8 in a row, going back to the home run by this man, Francisco Lindor. And with Elder still out on the mound, Darren, this is a situation that he has earned given what he's produced tonight on the mound.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned earlier when Bryce is good, he's really good. And you got to remember, Braves bullpen's already covered 11 innings in the last 2 nights. So, Brian Snitker going to push Bryce's pitch count a little bit here.
First pitch to Lindor, swung on and roped into left field, and a base hit for Lindor. He hustles down to first base, hits the bag, takes a big turn, and the Braves get it into second base, so it's a single by Francisco Lindor. And that leash might get a little bit shorter. Still no one throwing in the Braves bullpen. Napa is a proud partner of your Atlanta Braves. With America's largest network of parts and care, Napa has all the bases covered when it comes to your ride. Elder only at 68 pitches, 45 strikes, but now has to face Juan Soto, who's 1 for 2. Runner goes, pitches a ball, throw down to second base, and it's into center field. Lindor up on his feet, dashing for third base, and just now getting to it, Brujan. So it's a stolen base and an error. And Lindor is at third base with 1 down, and you hate that no matter who's on the mound, but especially with Elder given his ability to get a ground ball and get a double play.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Drake Baldwin, that throw just sailed on him a little bit. The Mets haven't run this series much, but they are 10th in the league in stolen bases. And a bit surprisingly mentioned, they're not the fastest team, but they've been very successful at stealing bases this year.
Well, now a runner in scoring position for Soto. Infield is in. Soto trying to boost his numbers with men in scoring position. Braves leading 2-1. Soto trying to at least tie it up. Soto hitting .252 for the season to go along with his 29 homers and 69 RBIs. 1-0 from Elder. And a ball low and outside.
Yeah, Soto's really been struggling in these situations this season, only batting .188 with runners in scoring position. And you see all those home runs, you'd expect more RBIs, but he's really been struggling in these run-scoring opportunities this season.
2-0 pitch. Missed low and outside. 3-0 on Soto. They're playing Soto to pull. Left-handed hitter. Infield in. 3-0 pitch. And he takes ball 4. Inning started with a ground out, but since then a single, stolen base, and an error. Put a runner at third base, now walk to Soto. So they're at the corners now for Brandon Nimmo, who is 1 for 2 with a single.
I hate to say this, but because the Braves just took the lead, but I think you trade a double play for a run here and get this game back under control, considering the workload that bullpen's taken. Try to get Bryce deeper in the game.
You get a double play, get out of the inning. There's a pitch on the way to Nimmo. And Nimmo lines one in the air to left field, in line with it Profar. Makes the catch, tagging from third base now Lindor. Here's a throw to the plate, cut off down the line, and it's a tie game. Sac fly by Brandon Nimmo, and he has his 67th RBI of the year. And the Mets able to take advantage of that throwing error by Baldwin, which puts Lindor at third base. And it's a 2-2 affair here in the 6th inning. Now Alonso comes to the plate, and nobody hates that more than Drake Baldwin, because he knows that the error is the reason the Mets are able to tie the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Game tied at 2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kickoff over to first base. Soto back in with a dive. Well, Elder and Alonso certainly have had some battles through the years. Of course, you remember the home run that Alonso hit versus Elder, where Alonso was yelling at Elder from the dugout after hitting the home run. There goes Soto. Pitch on the way, pulled foul into the Braves dugout. Braves ended up getting the last laugh in that series and that season, of course. Elder tonight against him had Alonso ground into a 5-4-3 double play and also struck him out in the fourth inning. Trying to get him here in the sixth inning, keep the game tied at 2. Oh, 1 pitch. And Alonso takes a slider low. Well, Darren, he knows what he's done to get him before, and he'd like to do that again, but at the same time not be too predictable. And it's got to be difficult to try to make that selection, mix it up, and still find what has worked before versus Alonso. Such a tough hitter. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And he missed inside 2-1.
And you mentioned, this is his third time through the lineup, and that's the challenge of going deep into games. That's why you love your starting pitchers to have a bunch of different options. Bryce does have some options here. I think if he executes one good sinker, he gets a ground ball and we're out of this inning.
There goes Soto. 2-1, swung on, miss. Throw down by Baldwin, not in time. Feet first slide by Soto. He swipes the bag and he's in scoring position. But it is a 2-2 count on Alonso.
And the Mets have now stolen 36 straight bases without getting caught. 90+% success rate, which would be a franchise record and is number 1 in MLB.
Wow.
So they've figured something out on stealing bases this year.
Soto will be running on contact. Elder spins around watching Soto back to the bag.
Just to add on to that, Juan Soto, not known for his speed, but that's his 19th bag of the year. By far a career high. I think his previous career high was right around 12.
There are probably some Mets fans thinking he can run.
Yeah.
2-2 on Alonso. Pitch on the way, and he missed low with a sinker. So now it runs full on Alonso. If he can't get him, then McNeil would come to the plate. Braves and Mets tied at 2. And after watching 2 very wild games to begin this series, it's a tight one here. 3-2, ground ball up the middle past the diving Allen and a base hit into left center field. Soto sprints for home. He scores, and the Mets take the lead. That is Alonso's 99th RBI of the year. And it's now 3-2 New York here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Something that you might not focus on in a box score, but has been the difference in this inning is those 2 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Neither one of those guys would have scored on the resulting hit if they hadn't stolen the base. I should say the subsequent hit.
Rick Kranitz out there to the mound. Well, and you can understand their thought process on that. These Mets have dropped 12 of their last 14 games.
Yeah.
And they've gone through spurts where they'll have some huge innings, and then their offense goes to sleep. They might be thinking, we got to find a way to be more aggressive. We got to run with guys that maybe you don't expect to run, and that level of hustle and just being aggressive altogether has paid off for them.
Yeah, and it's good scouting. Drake Baldwin, Rookie of the Year candidate, but the one area where he is lagging behind is throwing base runners out. He only caught 8 of 63 this year, a couple ticks below average in the league, and that's something that he has been working and will continue to do. But the Mets very, very savvy taking advantage of that.
Daysbel Hernandez now throwing in the Braves bullpen. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mets have scored twice here in the bottom of the 6th to answer the 1 run the Braves played it in the top of the inning. And it's 3-2 New York. Here's Jeff McNeil. Elder brings it. Misses low and outside with a sinker. McNeil 0 for 2. A fly out to right field and a fly out to center field. Elder straightens. He's at 80 pitches to this point. Number 81 is whipped on the ground out to second. Diving stop by Ozzie in shallow right from a knee. Throws over to Olsen and robs McNeil. That'll frustrate McNeil, but the Mets take the lead. They pick up 2 runs on 2 hits, an error, and a man left. We go to the top of the 7th inning, 3-2 Mets.
Hard hit ball to short.
I believe this one's it's a rookie card, I know, but I feel like it's the first card that I ever, like big league card. Obviously as a kid, trying to get to the big leagues, the dream of making it, but as a kid that had cards, right, as a kid, this is like seeing your card the first time is pretty cool. So that's pretty powerful when you see that card.
It's a 5-man umpiring crew here today, and this young superstar is in the stands.
And did their feet get tangled up? Yes, so Hoppy tripped, or he might have caught that ball.
There's a fastball, and there's a flying bat.
And that ball is off the ladder. It's actually off the ladder. You never see that.
Haggerty is on with an infield hit. A little tumble behind the mound. Hat fell off. That was awesome. I mean, you just don't see that.
I'm gonna go check out Food Truck Row. So, what did you guys get today?
Philly cheesesteaks.
Both of you got the same thing. Are they that good?
Oh yeah.
Got a hot dog and some fries. Just kind of basic ballpark.
Chicken bacon sandwich.
Philly cheesesteak. Okay.
And some
Crinkle cut fries. Okay, where are you guys from?
We're from Dallas.
Dallas. That's what's fun about baseball. It brings different regions together, not just the ball and glove and bat, but what we're eating.
Grounds crew just coming off the field as they just gave the infield a fresh makeover. And now we're ready as Rogers, the right-hander, goes to work here on Nacho Alvarez. And he frisbees a sinker over for a strike, 0-1. Nacho's 0 for 2. 0-1 pitch, a strike on the outside corner. Big crowd here in Queens on a Thursday night. Braves and the Mets in the rubber game of the series. 0-2 on Nacho Alvarez. Need the leadoff man on. And Nacho with a lazy fly ball to center. Coming in Cedric Mullins. Going out Jeff McNeil. This will be Mullins' ball. Center fielder has it for the first out here in the top of the 7th inning. Mets stay home after this game. They have the Mariners coming to town for 2 games here. And then their series will shift to Williamsport for the Little League Classic. So they'll have a couple more home games on this homestand. Meanwhile, the Braves head to Cleveland. And we'll see the Guardians for the weekend. Nick Allen takes a strike. Lean right-hander Rogers. Submarines one up there. And he missed outside with a slider. 1 ball and 1 strike on the Braves shortstop. 1-1 on a bouncer out to first. Taken by Alonso. Feeds the pitcher Rogers, who wins the race to the bag and 2 away.
Yeah, a couple things looking at Rogers' numbers that really stand out. Has the lowest walk rate in the league. Only 5 walks in 56 innings this season. And also the highest ground ball rate in the league by far. So, and also good at limiting hard contact. So he's one of their big additions at the trade deadline. He's not a 99-mile-an-hour flamethrower, but he's a very effective guy late in games because he's just so unusual the way he gets outs.
Well, you think about seeing a guy like Rogers after seeing maybe in some cases 2 or 3 other pitchers prior. Completely different look. There's a called strike. Coming up in between innings, it'll be the 7th inning stretch brought to you by 13 Heroes, a premium line of spirits founded to honor the lives of the 13 service members killed in Afghanistan in 2021. Help turn tragedy into legacy by visiting 13heroes.com today. Profar slaps one foul over to our left, and suddenly 0-2 on Profar. Braves have gone down 1-2-3 just once in the game, and it was this exact same part of the order back in the 5th inning when Alvarez, Allen, and Profar went down 1-2-3. Time called by Profar. taken his helmet off and is trying to wipe some sweat from his forehead. I think some of that got in his eye. And back in there now. No balls and 2 strikes. Rogers deals. Profar with a big chopper to third. Coming along now, Beatty. Bare hands and cuts it loose. And a bad throw. Pulled Alonso off the bag and he went tumbling to the ground. And Profar beats it out. That'll be a base hit as the wheels of Profar put the pressure on Beatty.
Yeah, as a third baseman there, you have to know who's running. And if they run well, your only shot on a high chopper like that is to barehand it. And Beatty made the right decision, just couldn't quite get that throw on the mark.
Now, visit to the mound.
And this is not surprising to me. I talked about Rogers being a low arm angle righty. And tonight he has not thrown a called strike above the batter's knee. He's really been peppering the bottom of that strike zone. Well, if you look at Matt Olson's hot spot, where he does the most damage, it's down in the zone. So this is a little bit more of a dangerous situation for Rogers. Again, it's such a unique delivery that you don't have a lot of experience against pitchers like this, but this could be why Hefner's out at the mound.
Well, and I'm going to mention a number that doesn't sound good, but here's why I like it for Olson. In his career versus Rogers, he's 0 for 7.
It's tough.
Well, but here's the thing. The odds are he's going to get him at some point. I mean, how many times can you get him consecutively? Here comes the pitch on the way to Matt Olson. Olson takes the ball outside. Look, I'd much rather it be, 5 for 7 with a couple of home runs than a guy that knows that he's beat him several times prior. But Matt Olson's not a guy that's easy to get out 8 times in a row.
Right.
We'll see if he does that. 1-0 pitch, and Olson takes a strike.
Yeah, Matt, I threw much like Rogers, not quite that low, but I was a side armor, and Matt wasn't that nice to me. He had much more success off of me. I'd have to look up exactly what it was, but hope he breaks that streak.
1-1 pitch, and Olson swings and gets a little piece of a sinker in a 1-2 count. It's 3-2 Mets here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah.
Ryan Helsley now throwing for the Mets in their bullpen. So the Mets hoping to get Rogers through the top of the 7th.
Yeah, that was Matt's pitch to hit right there. That was, I mentioned Rogers hasn't come above the knee. That one was about mid-thigh, right down the middle. And Matt just barely missed it.
So now 1-2 on Matt Olson. Profar lead at first base. Long pause in the 1-2. Fouled off into the second deck along the third base line.
Yeah, one thing Rogers does better than anybody in the league is throws a rising slider. So it actually comes up and into a lefty. He uses it a lot of times for a swing and a miss late in the count.
Again the 1-2. And Olson swings, and it's a high fly ball to center. Mullins looking up into the New York sky, makes the catch walking in. And that ends the top of the 7th inning. So Rogers gets Olson again. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning.
You're just too stylish to have superstitions.
Zero. I can't do it. Too many colored cleats.
Advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
The official hotel partner of your Atlanta Braves, Omni Hotel at the Battery Atlanta, is more than just a stay. We're your clubhouse, where everyone knows your name. Book your stay at omnihotels.com/Battery Atlanta.
You won't be able to get through the football season unless you catch the latest news while you work. Lock in Cellini and Domino every weekday from 10 to 2 on 680 The Fan or the Fan app.
Action transfers to the bottom of the 7th inning here at Citi Field in New York. It's a 3-2 lead for the Mets. Bryce Elder back to work. This will be his 82nd pitch of the game. And the first pitch to Cedric Mullins is a fly ball to left field. Routine play. Profar there. 1 pitch and 1 down. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Braves Radio Network.
Never miss a pitch of the Braves.
WCNN North Atlanta, a Dickey broadcasting station.
The Fan, and streaming free on the Fan app.
Mets 3, Braves 2, bottom of the 7th. Here's Ronnie Mauricio. Elder has solved him twice tonight to the tune of 2 strikeouts. Elder has 5 strikeouts in the game. Pitch misses high to Mauricio, showed bunt and pulled back. It's a 1-0 count.
This is the 4th time Bryce has pitched into the 7th inning this season. And 2nd time in 3 starts. He did that against Cincinnati 2 starts ago. So, a perfect time for Bryce to get deep in the game with that tired bullpen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Braves bullpen needed an effort like this from the starter. 1-0, a bottle rocket. Shallow right center. Ozzie, Brujan, Harris. They're in the neighborhood. It's Ozzie's ball. He's got it. And 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Did you know the all-time hot sauce leader in RBIs is the original Louisiana brand hot sauce? It's like a 1-2-3 inning for your mouth. That's Louisiana Hot. Buy you some. See if he can get Beatty. Turn in a 1-2-3 7th, and that would likely be it for Elder. Altogether, you'll take this effort 100 times out of 100 from Elder. 3 runs and 6 2/3. Just 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Beatty swings and misses at a top-shelf fastball. Alongside Darren O'Day and our producer-engineer Jonathan Chadwick. Ben Ingram here with you for the rubber game of this series under the lights in New York. Elders wind up in the 0-1. A swing and a miss. Good slider there. That pitch has been for him pretty much all night long. Looking ahead to the Braves' 8th, it'll be Baldwin, Ozuna, and Harris. And trailing 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th. 0-2. Bye-bye Beatty. He swings and misses at a high fastball. And it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th for Bryce Elder. And a terrific night for Bryce. 7 innings, 6 strikeouts, and leaves...
Mets 3, Braves 2 as we head into the 8th inning of play here. We have the second reliever of the game in for the Mets. It'll be flame-throwing right-hander Ryan Helsley. Helsley was acquired from the Cardinals just before the trade deadline, so between him and Rogers, these Mets are showing off their new toys tonight. Helsley has pitched in 41 games this season. He was the closer for the Cardinals, so he is 21 for 27 in saves. The Mets asking him to set up here for their closer, Edwin Diaz.
He'll be facing Baldwin, followed by Ozuna and Harris. Now, the Braves have seen Helsley twice this season. Last time we saw him, he got a save in a game in St. Louis. That was the final game before the All-Star break. Here's the pitch on the way to Baldwin. That misses high. But the day before, Helsley came on in the 8th inning for St. Louis in that game, and he gave up a 3-run home run to Sean Murphy. And that flipped the script, and the Braves won that game, and Helsley took the loss. And looking for a similar 8th inning tonight. 1-0 to Baldwin. There's a strike on the inside corner. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mets. 2 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for the Braves. Drake has been on twice tonight. He scored a run once. Altogether 1 for 3, and the 1-1 pitch. And Drake lifts one high in the air down the left field line. Towards the line, Nimmo sets up, makes the catch, and 1 down here in the 8th.
Yeah, Helsley, 31 years old now, but still bringing the heat. That fastball, we've already seen a couple hundreds here tonight, sitting right around 99. Also, a really good slider. He throws about 50% of the time. So, 100-mile-an-hour fastball, nasty slider. Pick one.
1 down for Ozuna. He can tie the game with a long one. Pitch all the way to Ozuna. Ball a little bit low and outside. You know, you think about your needs at the back end of a bullpen when you're coming down the stretch fighting for a postseason spot. And then furthermore, if you get in and you get into the postseason altogether, there's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Ozuna. Marcel takes a ball low. And how valuable Helsley could be to, number one, set up, but also to close if you needed him to. And so if you have a game that goes extra innings and maybe you haven't used him yet, and you've already used Diaz, and they've got 2 guys who can close who have been very good at it. And that's a big addition for the Mets. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Ozuna, and a strike on the outside corner. Two-1. And Ozuna swings and sends one foul into the seats down the right field line.
I was just looking at Helsley here on the monitor. He looks like a guy to me that watches a lot of cartoons. You know, like Scooby-Doo reruns, and I don't know why that just popped in my head, but that's the kind of stuff I have to live with, Ben.
It's too bad we're not still here tomorrow. You can go down and ask him about it. I wouldn't mind a rut row right here. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Ozuna. And Marcel takes the ball high. It came in at 101 miles an hour. I mean, he can cook it. A guy who watches cartoons a lot. 3-2 on Ozuna. 3-2 pitch all the way to the backstop. That looked like a cartoon right there. A very wild ball 4. I mean, he just airmailed it all the way to the backstop.
After that pitch, you expect Bugs Bunny to pop out of a hole. I gotcha.
Well, the tying runs at first for Michael Harris. Who else would you rather have at the plate than Michael right now? Braves will pinch run Eli White for Marcell Ozuna, so they drastically improved the speed over there at first base. Harris is 2 for 3 tonight. 6 consecutive multi-hit games. And in his career versus Helsley, he is 0 for 1, so he hasn't seen him much. One down, runner at first base. First pitch from Helsley. There's a strike. Well, good luck settling in after that ball 4 pitch went to the backstop, and then here comes a 102-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
Attention media,
Here is tonight's attendance, 41,782.
0-1 pitch. And Harris in the air towards left center field, slicing towards the gap and down for a base hit all the way to the wall. Eli White running like a man possessed. He will score. And a tie game on the double by Harris, who's swinging a stick of dynamite since the All-Star break. Tied at 3 here in the 8th. What a swing. And Darren, we had the perfect angle on that as it was hit to left center and slicing away from the center fielder Mullins.
Yeah, that was an absolute laser. And you thought he might have hit it too hard and was going to carry all the way to Mullins, but then it just started tailing towards that gap. And man, Eli White was cooking. I'd love to see that first to home time. It had to be one of the fastest in the league this year.
So the Braves have gotten to Helsley again. They got to him last time we saw him in St. Louis, and they've done it here in the 8th inning to tie the game at 3. Of course, it's the walk that the Braves turn into a run. We've seen a lot more of that lately. That's what good teams do. You give them a free pass, they're going to turn it into a run.
Yep, and nice managing there, too, putting Eli White in, recognizing that a gapper, Ozuna's probably not going to score on it. And, Eli scored easily.
Dylan Lee now up and tossing in the Braves bullpen. It's been a great night for Ozzie Albies. He has driven in 2 of the 3 Braves runs, and he can drive in another one right here. Harris, the runner at second. Ozzie Albies takes a fastball high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes on Ozzie. Ozzie hit the homer in the 4th inning to tie the game. He then gave the Braves the lead with a base hit in the 6th inning. And he could give the Braves a lead again here in the 8th with a base hit. 1-0 pitch, and he swings and hits one deep down the right field line towards the corner, and that is off of the wall on the fly. Harris takes off. Mets just now hit the cutoff man. That's going to give the Braves the lead. It's a double by Ozzie. That's his 3rd big base hit tonight, and it gives the Braves a lead here in the 8th inning as it's 4-3 Atlanta. He just cooked that one off the wall in right field.
Yeah, this is so fun to watch. All these extra base hits by these Braves, just smoking the ball over the ballpark off a guy, as you mentioned, throwing 102. What a turnaround for this Braves offense.
He's been throwing 102, and the Braves been swinging 103. Oh, man, 2 huge clutch hits for the Braves. A 4-3 Braves lead thanks to 2 runs here in the 8th, looking for more. Ozzie at second. Pitch on the way to Brujan. Send foul into the seats down the left field line. Three RBI night for Ozzie Albies. RBIs 45, 46, and 47 on the season. I think he might have the inside track to your Home Depot player of the game. 0-1 to Brujan. And a tapper right side. Alonso has it on the 3rd bounce. Steps on the bag for the out. 2 down. Advancing to 3rd base, Ozzie Albies. Well, that's important because we've already seen Helsley fire one to the backstop. And if he does that again, it could mean another run.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ozzie runs well at 3rd base. That slider I mentioned is nasty, so it's hard to block. So Luis Torrens is going to have to be do his best Patrick Waugh impression back there behind the plate.
Here is Nacho Alvarez. And he is 2 for 9 in the series, 0 for 3 tonight, 207 hitter. And Nacho takes a strike. 4-3 Braves, top of the 8th. And a Nacho, and he swings and misses at a slider down. Suddenly 0-2 on the Braves rookie. Man, you'd love one more run. Albies down at 3rd base. Alvarez down 0-2. Righty-righty matchup. This will be the 18th pitch of the inning from Helsley. 0-2 swung on, popped up. Under it now, the pitcher, Helsley, he's the one who sees it. Now Beatty calls him off and makes the catch right in front of the batter's circle. That ends the top of the 8th, but 2 runs across for the Braves. Base hits from Harris and Albies.
Doers get more done.
I'm Cortland spokespug Cordy. This broadcast of the Atlanta Braves is brought to you by Cortland. Visit Cortland.com to find your new apartment or one of our next level communities. Go Braves!
Hey, Braves fans, don't get tricked into following the baseball season or the Atlanta sports scene anywhere else. Listen to Cellini and Domino weekdays 10 to 2 on 680 The Fan.
Bottom 8 here at Citi Field. Braves leading it now 4-3 after 2 RBI doubles from Michael Harris and Ozzie Albies in the top of the inning. Old trusty Dylan Lee, the lefty, pitched last night, inning and 2/3, 2 strikeouts, and finds himself back out there tonight, suddenly with a 1-run lead, looking to lock that down.
And Starling Marte up to pinch hit for the Mets, leading it off. Takes the ball low and outside. This is the Yanmar strikeout the side inning. And if Dylan Lee can strike out the side, our contestant, Don McCartan, will be the lucky winner of a brand new Yanmar utility terrain vehicle. Ball and no strikes on Marte. Here it is. That's popped up on the infield, now into shallow left field. Allen going backpedaling. He's got it, 1 down. Big out there, get things going here in the 8th inning. So no winner tonight in the Yanmar strikeout the side inning. Enter all season long at Braves.com/Yanmar for your chance to win a Yanmar UTV and to be entered for a grand prize drawing at the end of the season. Yanmar, built together, back longer. Don McCartan, we appreciate you playing. 1 down here in the 8th inning. This is the man who put the Mets on the board back in the 3rd inning. Francisco Lindor hit a homer. He's also singled and scored a run. First pitch on the way to Lindor. He takes a called strike. We saw Dylan Lee work an inning and 2/3 last night. He did not face Lindor last night. The lefty fires. Lindor with a ground ball left side. Backhanded by Allen. Tough play. Sends a good throw over, but not in time. That was a great play to Allen's right just to get leather on it. In fact, coming off the bat there, and it looked like it was destined for left field.
It sure did.
Cut it off, made a play. Just couldn't get the fleet feet of Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous play. Just the body control to get to it, not fall over, and then make a decent throw. But yeah, if Lindor is 1 step slower, that's an out. Great play by Nick just to keep it in the infield.
So now it's Lee and Soto. Soto 2 for 9 with 3 strikeouts against Lee this season. First pitch of the at-bat, swung on, missed, threw him a slider. These two squared off here back in June. And in a pivotal, tense moment of the game, similar to this, Lee struck out Soto. We'd love to do the same here. 0-1 to Soto. Ground ball fouled on the first base line, and a good job by Dylan getting ahead, 0-2. Ready with the 0-2, and he fires. Soto goes down swinging. A slider got him. Now, striking him out is one thing, but doing it on 3 straight pitches. How about that effort from Dillon?
Nasty slider there, down and away from Soto. We talked earlier about how Soto's been struggling men in scoring position. Well, he's been struggling in all clutch situations this season, and he's been great before this year, but since he's been here in Queens, really scuffling in these late and close opportunities.
Dillon out to get. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Braves scored twice in the top of the inning and have a 4-3 lead. And now Brandon Nimmo comes to the plate. Nimmo is 2 for 9 with a double in his career versus Dylan Lee. And Nimmo is 1 for 2 tonight. 252 hitter. Pickoff over to first base. Lindor back in standing. Good idea keeping an eye on him after what we saw in the 6th inning.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, this is a perfect situation for Lindor to run, so Dillon's got to do his job and keep him close to first base.
Big lead by Lindor. Pitch on the way to Nimmo. Had a ball low and outside with a slider. 4-3 Braves, bottom of the 8th, 2 down. Lee shaking off his catcher, Drake Baldwin. Well, the big lefty straightens and comes set. 1-0 pitch, blew that by him. That heater's looking good.
Yeah, last night, Dillon struck out the first 2 hitters of the 7th, and we saw Snicker pull him and go to Pierce Johnson, and now we know that was to keep his pitch count down and keep him available here for today. So that strategy paying off.
Ball and a strike. Here it is to Nimmo. Another swing, another miss. That time with a slider. Now for Dillon, he can do about whatever he wants to right here.
Yeah, he's got that good heater tonight. He's really dotting that slider down and away to lefty, so a couple good options.
Let's see which one he selects. 1-2 to the plate. Check swing, didn't go after the slider. He had a notion, though. And you wouldn't blame Lee if he threw it again. Meanwhile, Pete Alonso lurking on deck. Braves leading by a run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Lee ready to bring it. And he spins the 2-2. Ground ball weakly to first base. Glove by Olsen. Puts his left foot on the bag. And that's that for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the 9th inning where the Braves lead.
That's my security right there. That's the bad one, Roscoe Pico train.
Major League Baseball wanted to start doing something with the players and their dogs.
Which one's the dog?
I was undecided on whether to do a dog card or not, but my wife pushed me in the back and she wanted a famous dog, so she told me to do it.
Participating McDonald's, valid once per day, must opt into rewards.
Hey everybody, Buck Bellew here. When the Braves don't play at 7, join me for the new Buck Bellew Show here on The Fan, 680 and 93.7, home of the Braves.
Top of the 9th here in Flushing. Braves bats beat up on Ryan Helsley in the 8th for 2 runs to take the lead. The score stands at 4-3. Braves looking to do the same to the Mets closer, right-hander Edwin Diaz. Not a safe situation, but he hasn't pitched since the 10th when he surrendered a walk-off home run to the Milwaukee's hitter Isaac Collins in the 9th inning. So just a third of the inning pitch that day and took a loss, snapping a long scoreless streak he's had.
Braves with a 1-run lead, and you know who the Mets have coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning to lead it off. So, man, he'd love another run of insurance. This will be Nick Allen climbing in, and the pitch on the way from Diaz is a called strike. Mets in the bottom of the 9th will have Alonso, McNeil, and Mullins. And Raisel Iglesias warming up in the Braves bullpen. See if the Braves can tack on a run. Allen takes a ball high. Count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets have used Senga, Rogers, Helsley, and now Diaz on the mound. 1-1 pitch, check swing, got a piece of it, tipped it into the glove of the new catcher, Francisco Alvarez. So they completely changed the battery out altogether. Remember, the Mets pinch hit for Torrens in the bottom of the 8th inning with Marte. So Alvarez takes over behind the plate. One and 2 on Nick Allen. He's 0 for 3. Diaz fires, and Allen hangs alive, fouling one off into the upper deck along the first base line. Man, what a series we have seen here in Citi Field. This has easily, at least at this point, been the most tame game of the 3. There's a called 3rd strike. Allen goes down looking at a fastball. Not much you can do with that pitch.
No, that was perfectly painted down and away. This is a big series for the Mets, especially. You know, the Phillies lost tonight to Washington 3-2, and there's a chance for them to gain a game in the division. And another lead slipped away from the Mets here. See if the Braves can cash that in.
Well, and if the Braves hold on and win this game, the Reds would be just a half game back of the Mets for the final wild card slot. And again, those two teams play a series in Cincinnati the first week of September. Check swing. Profar didn't go. 1 ball and no strikes. Mets have lost 12 of their last 14 games. They've allowed 6 or more runs in 9 of those 14. 1-0 pitch. Profar swings and misses. So to have allowed just 4 runs in this one probably feels like a pitcher's duel for them.
Yeah.
One to Profar. And a ball outside. Here's a wild one for you. The Mets haven't had a member of their starting rotation earn a win since David Peterson did it on July 26th. That was 16 games ago.
Wow.
2-1 pitch. And Profar sends one foul. That's how you lose 12 out of 14. Braves 4, Mets 3 is we're in the top of the 9th inning. Base is empty, 1 out. Profar has been on base once, 1 for 4 with a single. 2-2, hard hit ball, but on the ground out to second. Booted by McNeil. He recovers, throws to Alonso, and there's a 4-3 put out. Probably left a mark on McNeil as it took a bite out of him, but he recovers for the out. 2 down, and here comes Olsen. Olsen has put up some pretty good numbers versus Diaz in his career. 4 for 12. All 4 have been singles. Trying to keep the inning alive here in the 9th. Braves leading 4-3. Diaz deals. And a high strike on the outside corner at 99. Olsen pops one up down the left field line, looking like it'll be playable for Nimmo. And deep down the left field line makes the catch. Braves go down 1-2-3, so buckle up. We go to the bottom of the 9th upon our return. We head that way, 4-3 Atlanta.
Summer in the South means a few things. Baseball, grilling out,
prices this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At Georgia Power, we know that energy costs are an important part of every budget, and we're committed to providing tools and assistance to make a difference. Learn more at georgiapower.com/myenergy.
You've got a chance to win Braves tickets at noon and qualify for a trip to see Georgia Tech's opener in Colorado during the 4 o'clock hour. Get all of the details at 680thefan.com.
Bottom 9, Braves leading the close one here, 4-3. On the pitch, Braves closer Raisel Iglesias. We saw Raisel pitch the ninth inning last night, giving up a leadoff single to the man who's about to dig into the box, Pete Alonso, but then recording 3 quick outs. So a scoreless inning last night, looking for one more here tonight. Raisel has made 8 straight scoreless appearances and owns a 1.82 ERA over his last 26 games. Looking to lock down this save here for the visiting Braves.
So here we go. First pitch on the way to Pete Alonso. First pitch swinging, ground ball to third. Nacho stabs it, fires over. Boy, you like that. 1 pitch and 1 out. Well, you're always aware of Alonso swinging on that first pitch. He likes to do it. He's put up some pretty good numbers in his career versus Iglesias. Well, that's a huge out in a 1-run game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 1 pitch, 1 out. We'll take it anytime. And it looked like Nacho was a little surprised. Luckily, that ball was smoked just 1 step to his left. Good fundamental play getting that first out.
1 down for Jeff McNeil, who is 1 for 11 in the series and 0 for 3 tonight. And McNeil takes a first pitch strike. McNeil 2 for 6, couple of singles in his career versus Iglesias. 0-1 pitch, left-handed hitter, swings and misses. He's down 0-2. That fastball 97. 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Braves. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Mets. 0-2. Sent foul into the seats along the left field line. 0-2 on McNeil.
Boy, that velocity certainly has ticked up for Iglesias. At 96, 97, he's throwing to the top of the zone and changing his arm slot. Really tough on hitters.
0-2. Have a seat. Blistered a fastball right by him at 98. And McNeil walks back to the dugout dejected, and the Mets down to their final out.
Yeah, we know Iglesias struggled early in the season, but I don't recall seeing too many 97s and 98s at that time. So that arm is really rounded into shape here in August.
It's up to Cedric Mullins, left-handed hitter. First pitch to Mullins and a strike. Good changeup. 0-1 on Mullins. 4-3 Braves, 2 down, bottom of the 9th. 0-1 pitch. Mullins with a fly ball to center. Michael Harris on the other end. He's got it. The Braves win, and they come to New York and break hearts here in Queens. Braves win the rubber game. It's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th inning. Braves take this series. They also take the season series for the 8th year in a row against the Mets. And the Braves take 2 of 3 here in New York. It was a fun game. For the Mets in the 9th, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. And a sad bunch of Met fans head to the exits. Final score, Braves 4, Mets 3. Back with the totals after this.
Hey, Braves fans. Some things just get better with time, like your love for the Braves and banking with Truist One Checking.